Hello and welcome to News Central TV. I'm Darshan Usman. The top stories this hour. Islamic communities in Nigeria join other Muslims across the globe to mark Eid al-Fitr. Governor Okpewolo suspends security chief illegal vigilante as Emir Sanusi calls on Kano citizens to shelve plans for reprisal. And away from Nigeria, head of the Sudanese paramilitary rapid support forces admits withdrawal from capital Khartoum. Details and more after the break. News now begins from the nation's capital, Abuja, where President Bola Tinubu has called on Muslims to imbibe the values of kindness, charity, and selflessness embraced during Ramadan. Speaking at the National Eid Prayer Ground along Airport Road, Tinubu emphasized the importance of sustaining the spirit of Ramadan beyond the holy month. Now, the president also called for collective responsibility in fostering peace and national progress. And for the first time, President Tinubu will host guests at the State House for an Eid al-Fitr luncheon as he had marked the celebration at his Ikoyi residence in Lagos. President Bola Tinubu hosted his first set of guests for the Eid al-Fitr homage at the Presidential Banquet Hall, State House, Abuja. Now, Sunday's meeting began at 12:16 p.m. when the president arrived at the venue. The guests include some lawmakers representing the Federal Capital Territory at the National Assembly, area councils, chairpersons of the FCT, traditional rulers, leaders of the Christian and Muslim community, senior judicial officers, among others. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, who led the delegation, gave the opening remarks, followed by the presentation of cards by the guests to the president. In attendance were Vice President Kashim Shettima, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, and the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris. Residents of Nigeria's capital marked the end of Ramadan with Eid al-Fitr prayers after the month of fasting and spiritual renewal. Our correspondent, Joshua Marai, has the report.
Thousands of worshippers converge at the National Eid Prayer Ground in Abuja to observe the Eid al-Fitr prayers, marking the conclusion of the holy month of Ramadan. Among the faithful was Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu, who was accompanied by senior government officials to perform the prayers.
We should give thanks to Almighty Allah. We saw the beginning, we started together, and we are ending together in good health and in happiness, in prayers for our country, for all our people.
Worshippers also shared the significance of the celebration, emphasizing the values of sacrifice, gratitude, and spiritual growth cultivated during Ramadan.
It's a very wonderful day, and I'm very happy for the way I saw people finish their fasting and came out with their families and pray. So we thank Almighty Allah for sparing our lives to witness this Eid Mubarak.
My main message to the Nigerian Ummas is to be patient. We're going through a lot of trials. We need to be patient. We need to love each other. We need to love for each other what we love for ourselves. And we need to be honest. The governments are trying, but we need to cooperate with them. Without our cooperation, they can never succeed.
In Kurudu district within Abuja Municipal Area Council, residents turned out in large numbers for the 2-unit Eid prayers.
We have observed the month of Ramadan already, it has passed. We should be closer to Almighty God. We should make sure the way we are closer to Him, we should make sure we continue it again. We should not stop because month of Ramadan have stopped. No, we should continue it.
In the neighboring town of Suleja on the border between the FCT and Niger State, Muslim faithful also gathered in unity to offer prayers and celebrate Eid.
After the Ramadan, of course, we observe Eid just as we have done today. We also give thanks to Allah for that privilege. It's a privilege, it's not your right. So, and we pray that we can uphold the practice that we actually did in Ramadan and to continue with it all through.
Both hardship and otherwise is comes from God. And the message is that people should not relent from worshiping Allah.
As celebrations continue, residents highlighted the importance of peace, unity, and generosity, the core values of the Eid al-Fitr festivities. They also expressed hope for improved living conditions and greater national harmony in the months ahead. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
In Borno State, Muslim faithfuls observed a peaceful Eid al-Fitr this year following a month-long Ramadan marked by prayer, fasting, and reflection. The celebratory mood was highlighted by the widespread praise for the state security improvements as Shehu of Borno hosted a vibrant Durbar in Maiduguri, the state capital. News Central's Umari Kirawa completes the report.
In previous years, due to the age-old insurgency, Borno had witnessed roadblocks and restrictions, leaving many to face hardships during festive seasons. In the early hours, families in the various communities of Borno State converge at their Eid ground to observe prayers commencing the end of Ramadan.
Alhamdulillah, as you can see, a lot of people are all smiling. They are all out to celebrate this year Eid celebration. And as you can see, people are moving freely without any concern that there might be attack or there will be anything. I think this is what praising God and praising our own security architecture.
The improvements in security, which have enabled the local population to freely travel between towns and villages, have brought a sense of normalcy to Borno's residents.
The collective effort of our leaders with our service commanders gave us this peace we are witnessing today. Not forgetting the teeming populace that prayed for Almighty Allah, to pray to Almighty Allah to give us the enduring peace. I wish to congratulate all Muslims on this faithful day and wish us many more returns, inshallah, in the next coming years.
This is a historic moment for the people of the Katsina Empire here in Maiduguri, the state capital, where both the young and old, men and women converge at the Shehu of Borno's palace to witness the historic Durbar. This time is unique, as everybody is smiling, signaling the return of peace.
This is what we inherited. This has been happening in Borno for over 1,000 years, and we have maintained it, and we hope to live in the next generation to come.
Shehu had gone out to pray, and now he has returned safely back. So that is what we are depicting. Our government, our husband, and our pageantry.
Dressed in their regalia to showcase merriment of the festive season, the peaceful atmosphere for the people of Borno is said to have renewed their hope for better tomorrow.
We did eat it peacefully, so we thank God and may Allah show us next.
Lardin Borno ni never bandena mayande napsai malumande napsai lardu Borno arna karo lardu Borno ande kijindera wondena buniya luena bonne tawde kiji. For the people of Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, today is a happy day for them, taking into consideration the relaxation of curfew and free movement without any rancor, without any restriction. And their hope and prayers is that such initiative should be sustained for sustainable peace and development. From Ramat Square Eid Ground in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
Now we head to the southern part of the country, where after 29 days of fasting and spiritual reflection, Muslims in Lagos joined millions around the world in celebrating Eid al-Fitr. At the Dodan Barracks prayer ground in Ikoyi and other prayer centers across the city, worshippers gathered for the traditional Eid prayers marking the end of Ramadan. News Central's Bernard Akede reports.
The sight of thousands of worshippers dressed in their finest attires, bowing in unison, filled prayer grounds across Lagos as Muslims marked Eid al-Fitr. At the Dodan Barracks prayer ground in Ikoyi, where prominent figures often converge for prayers, the Chief Imam of Lagos, Sheikh Sulaiman Abu Nola, led the congregation in the Eid prayers, which began at exactly 10 a.m. In his sermon, the Chief Imam reminded worshippers that while Ramadan has come to an end, the spirit of charity and kindness should not. He urged Muslims to continue giving to those in need, regardless of religion, as a way to foster unity and growth in the society.
Peaceful coexistence amongst both the Muslims and the non-Muslims. This is in order to create an enabling environment for development. Also, the month of Ramadan is all about charity, giving to the less privileged, giving to the poor. This should be a continuous process. It's not only for Ramadan only. After Ramadan, let us continue to be our neighbor's keeper. Let us show good hands and good fellowship to our neighbors so that people can reflect and be able to appreciate what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us.
Among the dignitaries present was Lagos Deputy Governor Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, who emphasized the importance of prayers for the nation. Also speaking, former Lagos State Governor Babatunde Raji Fashola encouraged Muslims to pray for the President Bola Tinubu and the country's leadership as they navigate governance challenges.
This is the time for us to build, not the time to break. This is a time to reconcile, not a time to reproach. This is a time for us to stretch our hands of fellowship to one another and focus on building the great country that Almighty Allah has provided for us.
Elsewhere in the state, Muslim faithful reflected on the spiritual significance of Ramadan, highlighting the importance of zakat, acts of charity, which remains a pillar of the faith beyond the fasting period.
29 days, it was not much, but then it was a lot because a lot went on, the prayers, the supplications, the du'as and everything. And then now after 29 days, I guess we have to continue with the good work that was, because it doesn't just end at the 29 days. The Quran recitation, the prayers, everything has to continue.
This is another opportunity to worship God, to serve God, to show love and all of that. So we're thankful to God for that, for giving us this opportunity.
With the next 2 days declared as public holidays in Nigeria, Muslims will take time to celebrate with family and loved ones before resuming their daily routine. And as Muslim faithful departs the prayer ground here at Dodan Barracks in Lagos, the message from the Chief Imam is simple. Though the month of Ramadan is about charity, giving to the poor and to the less privileged, that act should not end with the end of Ramadan. On the contrary, it should continue all through the year to foster development and harmony amongst Muslims and non-Muslims alike. In Lagos for News Central, Bernard Akede.
In Asaba, the Delta State capital, Muslims gathered at the Eid prayer grounds to seek forgiveness and express gratitude to Allah for a successful Ramadan. News Central correspondent Austin Azu, who covered the spiritual exercise, reports that the faithfuls share insights on its significance, lessons learned during Ramadan, and wishes for Nigeria.
And this thing teaches you a lot of things within this last month. It teaches you to be patient, to be tolerant, and to be dedicated to Almighty God, to fear God, and to support the needy.
Being a Muslim or Christian, anywhere you find yourself, you share that love that you feel that is very common. It matters to share to one another. And I'm saying happy Salah to everyone.
We need peace for this country. We all are all one. Muslims and Christians, we are all one. We are from Adam and Eve.
Our leaders should come together, irrespective of their religion, irrespective of their tribe. We must come together and join hands to work for our dear country. We don't have any country than Nigeria.
Thank you for staying with us. Meanwhile, the Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido II, has called on citizens of Kano to shelve plans of reprisal attacks following the gruesome murder of suspected hunters and alleged indigents of Kano State. The incident happened as the suspected hunters, identified to be in possession of hunting rifles, were attacked at the Uromi area of Edo State as they were traveling from Port Harcourt to Kano. The Emir, while speaking during a sermon at the Eid prayer ground in the state capital, called for justice for the deceased, urging citizens of the state to allow law enforcement agencies to do their job. He then held a mini carnival-like procession back to his palace after the Eid prayers and was escorted by hundreds of supporters through major streets of Kano. Some residents who spoke to News Central expressed their delight and support for the emir.
Ayyo mu kawai Allah ma ya mana rahama. Mun yi azumi mun yi sallah mun ga sarkin mu. Allah ya maimaita mana. Me da muhimmanci gani sarki ku ayo? Ai alaji idan an yi azumi aka yi sallah ba ga sarki ba ma da sauranka. To, yi mana anan Kano ba da sauranka. Haka ko? Yi mana yanzu kuma za mu je mu ci abinci mu ta godewa Allah kaji sai abin da sarki ya faɗa. A zauna lafiya wanda ɗaukar doka a hannu. To umarnin sarki za mu je mu.
Yau ranar farin ciki da Allah ya tabbatar mana da wannan rana mai albarka ta ɗaya ga watan Shawwal wanda mun kammala watan azumin Ramadan lafiya. Allah ya karɓe badunmu wannan hawan sallah ne mai albarka kafin martaba sarki ya fito. Ga ma kofar bai za mu raka shi har gida in Allah ya yarda. Za a yi taro lafiya a gama lafiya cikin.
Still in Kano State, this government has assured citizens of the state that it will leave no stone unturned in its quest to secure justice for the victims and the citizens of the state that were murdered in Uromi, Edo State. Now, the victims were labeled as bandits and kidnappers following their apprehension by local vigilantes and were subsequently lynched and set on fire by a mob, with about 16 persons losing their lives. In a statewide Salah message broadcast, the state governor, Abba Kabir Yusuf, expressed deep sorrow over the tragedy, describing it as unfortunate. News Central correspondent Emmanuel Bagudu tells us more on this.
From Kofar Wambai to Kofar Mata, location of the Eid prayer ground, residents of Kano trooped out en masse for the Eid prayers and celebrations. And after several hours of waiting, the business of the day commenced with the Emir of Kano, Mohammed Sanusi II, taking the lead. The Emir in his sermon called on residents to accept the ban on the Salah Carnival and Durbar by law enforcement agencies in the interest of peace. While the state governor returned to the government house to deliver his Salah message, the Emir returned to his palace through the streets of Kano on horseback, followed by his supporters.
Ayyo mu kawai Allah ma ya mana rahama. Mun yi azumi mun yi sallah mun ga sarkin mu. Allah ya maimaita mana. Me da muhimmanci gani sarki ku ayo? Ai alaji idan an yi azumi aka yi sallah ba ga sarki ba ma da sauranka.
Yau ranar farin ciki da Allah ya tabbatar mana da wannan rana mai albarka ta ɗaya ga watan Shawwal wanda mun kammala watan azumin Ramadan lafiya. Allah ya karɓe badunmu wannan hawan sallah ne mai albarka kafin martaba sarki ya fito. Ga ma kofar bai za mu raka shi har gida in Allah ya yarda. Za a yi taro lafiya a gama lafiya cikin hukuncin Allah. Allah kuma musulmi barka da sallah na duniya baki daya.
At the government house, the governor congratulated Muslims on the occasion of the Eid al-Fitr celebrations, expressing his determination to provide citizens of Kano State with dividends of democracy.
That our government is unwavering in its commitment to implementing proactive measures that will bring relief and improve the living conditions of our people. We shall continue to work tirelessly to ensure sustainable economic growth, social welfare, and infrastructural development across the state. Let me equally seize this opportunity to condole with all of us, the citizens of Kano State, over the tragedy that occurred in Edo State, where many of our sons in large number were brutally killed by some miscreants. This government will not leave any stone unturned in fishing out the perpetrators of this heinous crime and bringing them to book.
The emir later visited the governor, where he felicitated with him as part of the Salah celebrations. In Kano for News Central, Emmanuel Bagudu.
Meanwhile, the governor of Edo State, Monday Okpewolo, has ordered the immediate suspension of all illegal vigilante groups operating in the state. The governor also suspended the commander of the Edo State Security Corps, retired CP Friday Ibadin. According to a statement signed by the secretary to the Edo State government, Umar Musa Ikilo, the action of the governor follows information of the general public that after a review of the preliminary report of the incident at Uromi in Ishan Northeast local government area of Edo State on Thursday, involving the killing of some travelers, the statement said investigations into the killings are ongoing and 14 persons have been arrested so far, while there is an intense manhunt for others by a special team set up by the Inspector General of Police. And now we move to our correspondent, Biola Festus, who is standing by in Rivers State to give us an idea of the atmosphere in Rivers State during the festivities. Hello, Biola, if you can hear me. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, Dashan. I can hear you.
Please go ahead and, share with us what the air or the atmosphere is like in Rivers State, and what do you see in the streets?
The streets of Port Harcourt are quite calm this evening. And of course, since morning, it doesn't look like the usual Salah day. Unlike other Salah celebration days, you see people trooping out, going shopping, celebrating with their friends and loved ones. But it's been different this year. I'm currently at the popular Rumokuta market, Rumokoro market, I beg your pardon, in Port Harcourt. Unlike other Salah days, you would see the market filled with people, whether it's a Sunday or a weekday. But today has been different. I spoke with some traders here who said they actually came out with lots of goods with the hopes that our Muslim brothers and sisters would come shopping. But of course, they've not been able to sell. The story is different. And then I also saw some Muslim faithful in the market. They've been trading. They've been going about their usual businesses. And when I asked them, their response was that they've ought to come out and fend for themselves, look for whatever it is that they can get, whatever it is that they can sell in order to feed their family. This is because of the economic downturn in Nigeria. Of course, it's also affecting Rivers State. And then the Muslims are also complaining that they are yet to get a congratulatory message from the government of the day in Rivers State. So this has brought some sort of feeling, some sort of feeling, wondering if the government of the day is actually with them. And they refer to the suspended governor that when he was on sick, he had restored their pilgrimage. This is after years of no pilgrimage for the Muslims. So they've also condemned the state of emergency. Do not forget that Rivers State is currently on operating under emergency law. So everything that happens, of course, is expected to evolve round this. So the Muslim community are not happy with what is going on in Rivers State, especially as they are yet to get any congratulatory message from the government of the day.
All right. Well, that's about sums up almost everything that that's actually happening in Rivers State. Thank you so much, Biola. We wish we could actually ask you more questions. But away from that, Islamic movement in Nigeria, also known as the Shiites, has accused security forces of human rights violations during its procession last Friday in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Addressing journalists in Abuja, the group denied reports of confrontation, insisting that there was no provocation from its members to warrant the actions of security operatives. They alleged that 6 of their members were killed, over 380 detained, and that some corpses remain unaccounted for. The group is now demanding the immediate release of its members and the bodies of those allegedly killed.
We may also wish to state here that, similar to what we learned is happening in Israel and Palestine, when they attack Palestinians, they take away the dead bodies. We have been reliably informed that, and it's well known to the world, that they harvest their organs. Right now, Israel is directly behind this attack that happened here in this city yesterday. So, and we have our dead bodies with them. We will therefore demand the release of our bodies and a thorough examination of their bodies to make sure that no organ has been harvested from any of our brothers, and this we will not condemn. In view of the foregoing, we are demanding for 1, unconditional release of all that have been arrested in connection with the 2025 Abuja International Post Day procession held on the 28th of March 2025. We are also demanding the prosecution of those responsible for the killings. Certainly, somebody must have given the order, and some people, non-people have been, commissioned to carry out the killings. We therefore demand that these people should be fished out and punished accordingly, because nobody has any right to just take any gun, any arm and just kill anybody just because he's exercising his fundamental human right.
And now we go back to Rivers State, where we have Nasir Awelebe Uhor joining me. He is the Vice President General and Chairman Association of South-South Muslim Ummah of Nigeria. Thank you so much, Nasir, for joining us at this time.
Thank you very much for having me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Barakah de Sallah to you as well. Can you give us an idea of what it is like celebrating Eid in Rivers State this year with everything that has happened or is happening so far?
Well, alhamdulillah, we thank Allah the Almighty for making the states peaceful, for granting us the peace and opportunity to celebrate, to fast and celebrate in peace. Yes, there's a kind of political crisis.
We apologize for that technical issue. And now we move on, where at least 9 people lost their lives in a fatal road crash along the Malumfashi-Kafur Road in Katsina State. The Katsina State Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Aliyu Ma'aji, confirmed the accident, describing it as a lone accident involving a bus carrying 20 passengers. Ma'aji said 9 passengers died on the spot, while 11 others sustained varying degrees of injuries and were rushed to the hospital for treatment. Preliminary investigations attributed the crash to speeding and loss of control. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have arrested 2 Nigerian businessmen based in the Lekki area of Lagos State and Italy for alleged illicit drug shipments to Nigeria and Europe. Now, the Director of Media and Advocacy of the NDLEA, Femi Babafemi, made the disclosure in a statement he issued to newsmen on Sunday. According to Babafemi, a Lekki, Lagos State businessman and proprietor of Damilian's Takeout, Arokodare Damil Ebenezer, was arrested in connection with the shipment of 60 parcels of Loud, a strong strain of cannabis from the United States of America to Nigeria. The 43-year-old businessman was arrested at Bay Lounge, Admiralty Way, Lekki area of Lagos State, where he does his illicit drug business on March 24, 2025, while he was expected to take the delivery of his latest drug consignment. After his arrest, he was taken to his Lekki home for a search, during which 94 grams of the same psychoactive substance, cannabis crusher, and other drug paraphernalia were recovered. The Managing Director of the Federal Housing Authority, FHA, alongside the FHA management team, has inspected the Buari housing project to address recent allegations of project abandonment and non-payment of contractors. During the visit, the FHA boss dismissed claims that the site had been abandoned, reaffirming the agency's commitment to completing the project. He also engaged with contractors to assess progress and warned that contracts would be terminated for those who had failed to execute their obligations despite being mobilized since last year.
Exactly 25th of July last year when we came here, the project was looking abandoned. But like we normally say, government is continuum, and we came in, we had to move in straight to make sure the project continues. The first thing we did was to find out where are the stages of contractors in terms of payment, in terms of work schedule, work done. And at that July, when we confirmed some certain contractors have met up to the requirement for payments, after doing valuation and everything, we decided to pay. Some abandoned the site, which some have even still abandoned the site as we speak, which we are terminating their contract. But so far so good. The last time we were here, the buildings were not yet plastered, roofs were not yet done in most of it. Like I said, the electricity poles were not installed, infrastructural facilities were there. We can also see the fencing as well wasn't there. It's quite a big, massive project of about 237 housing units, thereabout, if I'm right. And we would complete, putting it in mind that we are not being funded from the budgetary allocation. That's the truth. So it's through our entire generated revenue that we've been able to achieve this so far. And thanks for the staffs as well, I usually say it. They are dedicated and their commitment into the work. And we can promise Nigeria that about 5-6 months from now, we should be able to complete this project. I also come in here is to see, because we've told the contractors, we must inspect your work stage by stage before payment. You won't just sit in the office and we'll pay you for doing nothing. We are terminating some, which we are going forward to the EFCC.
Coming up, Sudan paramilitary chief admits withdrawal from capital. We'll tell you more after the break. Join us again. And now away from Nigeria, the head of the Sudanese paramilitary rapid support forces admitted in a speech to fighters on Sunday that the group had withdrawn from the capital, Khartoum, which rival army forces have retaken. The comment from RSF Commander Mohammed Hamdan Daglo came 3 days after the group said there would be no retreat and no surrender, and that its forces had repositioned despite the army's declaration on Thursday that the last pockets of the RSF had been eliminated from Khartoum after being 2 years of the war. Now, the war has created what the United Nations describes as the world's worst hunger and displacement crises. More than 12 million people have been uprooted, tens of thousands killed, and a UN-backed assessment declared famine in parts of the country. Army Chief Abdul Fattah al-Burhan on Saturday also vowed not to back down after a decisive blitz in which the army reclaimed the presidential palace, the war-damaged airport, and other key sites in the city center where buildings were burned and bullets scarred. In the meantime, displaced Sudanese from Port Sudan gathered for Eid al-Fitr prayers marking the end of the holy Muslim month of Ramadan. They are hoping to spend the next occasion in Khartoum, surrounded by their family and loved ones. They also pray that God puts an end to the war that has led to the fragmentation of the Sudanese people.
ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يعيد هذه المناسبة ونحن في الخرطوم وسط أهلنا وسط حبائبنا وسط كل من له صلة الرحم. ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يقف هذه الحرب القذرة التي أدت إلى تشتت الشعب السوداني من كل النواحي النفسية والنواحي المادية والنواحي الاجتماعية.
فقدت أهلي كلهم يعني في السنة دي بالذات يعني كل الناس كلها يعني هاجرت يعني جزء مشى يعني مصر جزء مشى السعودية جزء مشى ليبيا العائلة كلها ما تلقى فيها إنسان واحد يعني كلهم يعني متفرقين يعني دي كانت ما فيش الناس كلها كانت يعني مترابطة كلها يعني وكانت بتلم مع بعض لكن السنة دي بالذات يعني الناس كلها تفرقت يعني.
العيد صار عيدين نحن في السودان في فرحتين الفرحة عيد الفطر المبارك وفرحة انتصار القوات المسلحة وعودة الخرطوم حرة.
طبعا فقدنا كثيرا احنا فقدنا الاهل والاصحاب والاخوان في ظل الحرب دي يعني العيد بيكون مسيخ اصلا بالنسبه لنا نحن ذاته يعني ما حتقدر حتمشي بيت ما بتعرف زول انت قاعد في حته ما بتعرف زول السلام عليكم وعليكم السلام لكن العيد لازم تمشي تقعد مع تجي من الجامع تجي تقعد الفطور بعد الصلاه تمشي لحبوبات.
Gabonese presidential candidate Brice Oligui Nguema has promised his historic victory and defended his record as he launched his campaign for the April 12 elections. Now, as he entered the stadium in the suburbs of Libreville, the former head of the Republican Guard, who ended Bongo's 55-year rule with a coup in August 2023, walked around the pitch, gave a military salute, and mimicked athlete Usain Bolt's lightning bolt gesture towards the crowd. This meeting marks the start of the official campaign as Gabonese people go to the polls on April 12th to elect their future president and confirm the end of the transition.
Mon projet repose sur 6 piliers. 1. L'accès à l'eau potable, à l'électricité et à la réforme du secteur. 2. L'entrepreneuriat et l'employabilité des jeunes. 3. Le développement des infrastructures.
In other news from around the world, monks held their robes to their faces as they looked at the gaping hole in the ground where a dead body lay as the odor of death permeates the air above the remains of the O La Thieng monastery in Mandalay. 48 hours after a shallow 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck, destroying buildings across the central Myanmar city, rescuers from Myanmar and China drilled through rubble to find buried victims. A coordinator on the site said more than 180 monks were sitting an exam when the quake struck and collapsed a building section of the building. Now, the rescuer said on Saturday, a total of 21 people were rescued alive and 13 bodies had been recovered by Sunday morning. In business, Bureau de Change operators have revealed that despite the Naira's gains at the foreign exchange market during the week, the local currency is still suffering from a loss of confidence. Licensed currency traders said that although it is usually a good development to see the Naira gaining strength against other foreign currencies, it, however, noted that the local currency is overburdened by devaluation at the official market and depreciation at the open market. This was made known by the president of the Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, Aminu Godebe, during an exclusive chat with Nairametrics over the weekend. Godebe said the appreciation of the Naira can be attributed to the intervention of the Central Bank of Nigeria at the electronic foreign exchange merchant system window, which has significantly boosted supplies as well as weaker demand in the market. In a significant step towards advancing South Africa's just energy transition, Minister of Electricity and Energy, Gosiento Ramogopa, has launched a process to procure approximately 1,164 kilometers of 400 kV transmission lines across the Northern Cape, Northwest, and Gauteng provinces. This move marks a pivotal effort to bolster the country's energy infrastructure and accelerate its shift towards sustainable energy solutions. The newly formed National Transmission Company of South Africa has been designated as the buyer of this crucial infrastructure project. The initiative is part of a broader push for the government to reform the nation's network industries, particularly at a time when external funding, such as from the United States, remains uncertain. In the world of sports, Lobby Stars are set to face league leaders Remo Stars in a rescheduled Nigeria Premier Football League Matchday 30 clash. Now, the game, which takes place on April 9th, 2025 at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium in Enugu, originally set for March 22, the match was postponed by league organizers. Lobby Stars, currently at the bottom of the table, are fighting to avoid relegation, while a victory for Remo could boost their chances of winning their first ever NPFL title. Meanwhile, the NPFL has also rescheduled the round 31 fixture between Ikorodu City and Katsina United. Initially planned for March 27th, it will now be played on April 10 at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena in Lagos. English Premier League side Arsenal have officially appointed Andrea Berta as their new sporting director. Now, the 53-year-old Italian, formerly with Atletico Madrid, replaces Edu, who left in November to join a group of clubs owned by Greek businessman Evangelos Marinakis. Berta, with a background in banking, previously worked with Parma and Genoa before joining Atletico in 2013. During his time there, the club won multiple major titles, including 2 La Liga championships and the Europa League. Berta expressed excitement about joining Arsenal, praising the club's recent progress and strong values. He faces a crucial summer with key contract negotiations and the search for a top striker to strengthen Mikel Arteta's squad. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, here's another look at some of our top stories. We told you that Islamic communities in Nigeria joined other Muslims across the globe to mark Eid al-Fitr. We also told you that Governor Kwaolo suspends security chief, illegal vigilante, as Emir Sanusi calls on Kano citizens to shelve plans for reprisal. Finally, you heard that the head of the Sudanese paramilitary Rapid Support Forces admits withdrawal from capital Khartoum. Remember, you may send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Go TV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Darshan Usman.